Hey, John.
Hi Eric, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, not too bad. It was good.
Yeah. Probably out working. Said they're probably out working. Well, no, not you. Yeah. What are you doing right now?
I'm here.
Hi, Chuck.
Morning, John.
Morning, Chuck.
Hey, Eric. Almost had to do this call by cell phone this morning. Our power's out for an hour. Just came back on a half hour ago. Worst part, I didn't have my coffee made. I could have been awfully irritable. More than normal. Lance woke up.
He's muted, but he's on.
John, did you ever hear anything more from the lady at the county regarding our minutes that we didn't have enough detail or something? You've heard nothing, I guess?
No, yeah, I sent her a note that time, but
Yeah,
never,
that's
and
it.
I said other towns, the same way, but I never heard anything back, so.
Okay.
She's okay, I think.
I just want to make sure she's happy.
Yeah, Linda Phillips, yeah.
Do you have guests coming in, Eric, to represent these applicants?
Yeah, Greg is joining us right now.
Oh, Greg West. Good morning, Mr. Westbrook.
I don't think he can hear us just yet. There he is. Morning, Greg.
How are you?
Good.
We're all good.
If you guys want to get started, looks like Sarah and Linda is still connecting to the audio, but Lance, can you hear us? Are you still on the phone?
It shows that he's muted.
Yeah, I see that. He sent out a message in the chat. I just want to get started since Greg only has a half hour here with us.
Go.
I'm going to share my screen with everybody and let's see, and pull up. I'll pull up the property we're talking about here. If you guys are familiar with the chalet just outside of Cheshire, it's a very nice bed and breakfast right here. So, Greg, if you want to and are ready, feel free to tell us what's going on, what you guys want to do.
Sure. They want to, that's not me.
Oh,
they
right.
want to put up 2 tents along the entrance driveway in the area that maybe, Eric, you could move your cursor around a little bit, right in that area where you got it kind of there. A little further east, please.
Oh, yeah.
There and right there. There you go. You got it there. So 2 tents for the purposes of trying to get some business. I'll stop there.
Okay. I know I have your email here with the map showing kind of where the
Yeah,
tents
you
are,
do.
so
I think you do.
grab that real quick.
Good morning, guys. I apologize. I was on the phone with Rocco.
Oh, no wonder.
So,
No wonder you couldn't get off. We're talking to Greg.
Okay.
So here's where the tents are proposed to be, in between the house and the road. He's down there.
Correct.
The application, so the property has an existing special use permit for a tourist home. I need to look into it a bit more. It may need to amend that special use permit. It certainly will change the site plan a little bit for that special use permit, but this what they're proposing is a new special use permit for a temporary use. Because this will only happen through, what were the months, Greg? Do you remember?
May through September, I think,
Yeah.
something on that line.
So because it won't be throughout 12 months of the year, they're proposing a temporary use for those tents. So it's going to be, Greg, right, it's going to be built on top of like a deck platform, and then there will be like a removable tent-like structure on top of that deck.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you guys have questions, Chuck?
Yeah, I was reading Margaret and Patricia's statement of operations. And the tents, how will the tents be used in a marketing effort? I mean, that'll attract people to their B&B?
Yeah, so you might have mentioned they've gone through a significant economic turmoil this year.
Okay.
Because most of their clients come from out of state historically. I'll also make a couple of comments about these folks. They've been in business here for at least 12 years, if not 14 years now, I guess. And yep. And so they are top rated in the U.S. and they want to add an item that maybe will allow them to generate more revenue. And that would be a tent on a platform. And that's all they need to do. And they want to be able to talk about it this year so they can start marketing to their market. Right now, you know, they're down significantly, probably revenue's off 80% for the enterprise. So there's a need, a very real need to try to expand their market before they get into financial situations that nobody wants them to get into.
So this would be used for special events?
No, it's a tent to sleep in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just picturing an open tent. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, okay. It would be the real wilderness experience. Okay.
Glamping site. That's what it's called.
Glamping.
Yeah. It's camping and glamour. So glamping.
So there would be parking spaces associated with each tent?
Barn, it's already paved just up the road a little bit.
Okay, they park up the barn, walk down to their tent.
The barn is right there. I'm sure you understand, Chuck, that's the barn is. There's parking there. They walk down to their tent. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess sanitary facilities and water.
Whatever is required by law will be met.
Okay.
How many, I apologize, I came into this a little bit after you guys had started. How many tent sites are we talking about?
200.
200, okay.
I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Two.
Okay.
Be like Valley Forge out there. So 2 tents, 2 families at a time, parking up at the barn. Facilities have yet to be determined. Maybe they can work on how they intend to do that between now and the meeting, the planning board meeting. That would be helpful.
Is it required?
Excuse me?
Is it required information?
I would just assume that if you're going to have people staying in a tent, you're going to want to know where they're going to take care of their sanitary facilities. I mean, either maybe they walk up to their house. Maybe there's something in the barn. Maybe there's going to be porta potties. I have no idea how you intend to do that. But yeah, I'm sure they've given it some thought. So.
Yep.
But as proposed, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lance.
I was just going to say, just as being proposed right now, there is no improvements being proposed as part of it. Is that correct, Greg?
Well, I want to be very clear that this tent if you look at the code, I believe it needs to be less than 400 square feet to the
Okay.
code, somebody's code somewhere. I'm not sure it's a town of Canandaigua code or
Sure.
maybe a state building code. And,
Okay.
you know, we're asking for, will be less than 400 square feet for sure. Okay.
Sure.
It'll be on a platform. The tent area, the tent area will be less than 400 square feet.
So Lance, as far as like improvements go, there would be like a deck kind of.
Right.
Okay, a deck being proposed, but less than 400 square feet to accommodate the trend.
And the deck is less than 6 inches
Yep.
above the surface of the ground.
Yeah, just to get them off the ground so it's not wet. Understand. Any
And I
clearing
guess-
that would be done as part of this, Greg, that we know of, or is that yet to be determined?
Any what? I'm sorry?
Like clearing, site clearing that needs to be done? Is there,
No,
we
they've
already have
already,
areas picked out?
they already have the areas picked out. They're already established, and that's what they.
Gotcha. Okay. It seems pretty straightforward.
And you did say it'd be seasonal.
I'm sorry,
So-
seasonal for sure.
Seasonal, right? Yep. Okay,
Going back to the, when, you know, Washington crossed the Delaware, you know, river, you know, it's freezing winters. We don't want anybody freezing out here, so.
No. It's colder here than it is
I know.
Washington's Crossing. Okay. So
Karen,
we're,
does this require a public hearing?
Yeah, for a new special use permit.
Okay.
There's a couple other things that we need for the application. We need the short environmental quality, or the short environmental assessment form.
You know, this is where I start to go crazy. So, because they want to put up 2 tents.
Yeah.
2 tents.
Okay. I understand, but the New York State requires the town essentially to make a secret decision whenever they make a decision. Isn't that right, Lance?
Yeah, so we have to make an evaluation of it. However, I think the town has adopted an application policy that says all applicants, regardless of seeker type, has to fill out a short form. Is that correct, Eric, or is that?
I believe so. They're included in all our application
How about if I
packets.
put a pup tent out for my grandchildren in my backyard? Do I have to file a form?
No.
No, because I don't think you need a permit from the town.
Or even if a permit, you wouldn't need to have that seeker form, but if it needed planning board approval or zoning board approval, it would.
yeah, I think this is all tied to the special use permit for the B&B. So I think,
And I opened this, Chuck, in conversation about how these people are, they're anxious to go now. And now we've got another 3-week program here. And then we've got another, well, excuse me, maybe 2 weeks. I don't have my weeks correct, I don't think. Maybe it is 3 weeks from tomorrow, I'm not sure. But, and then they've got to go fill out another form. They got to pay is another fee associated with this, that application of the form for the seeker?
No.
no.
Is it all covered by the $100?
Yep.
Okay, and then Lance talked a little bit about how they might review, or I'm not sure if they're going to review this, but if they were, there would be fees associated with that. Is that correct also?
If MRB reviews it, yes.
Right.
We charge
what's
back to the app.
Right, what's the budget for that, please? No, they may decide not even to do it. So let me just, I want to understand what the choices are here.
So before we go too far, let me, because Greg, I totally understand where you're coming from on this. I think looking at the whole application as a whole, I think this seems like it would be a type 2 where we wouldn't require the short form to be evaluated by the planning board because of the fact that it's less than the triggers that would require us to do so. Now, whether or not the town requires you to fill out the short form or not, that's up to the town if it's a requirement of the application or not. But I think if we stated for the record, for John's purposes, for the record keeping, I think this is a type 2 action under seeker that doesn't require us to do any seeker evaluation above just complying with the type 2. Now, if it comes to MRB group, that's up to the town, but I don't know if this is something that comes to MRB group or not for review.
In the past, we've sent special use permits to MRB Group. And then any other charges that MRB might create, I would think is, if it doesn't, then it would be resolution drafting.
Sure. I think as a whole, it'd probably be $400 or less.
Yeah.
That'd be the maximum.
Then we can table this application. Now we're up to $500 for 2/10 on a person that owns 30 acres in the town of Canandaigua that needs the business and the process and the time and the money. It costs $400. What does the $100 buy us? What does $100 buy Patty and Margaret?
For the special use permit application?
Application, right? Review of application assumed also, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, review from town staff and whatnot.
Sorry to interrupt you. Bobby is here.
Eric, you had said there were some other things you needed. What were they? If we were to continue with this.
Yeah. An ag data statement form. This is a state required form again. This is anytime there's a special use permit, or in this case, a special use permit within 500 feet of an agricultural district. Requires that form.
No fee.
There's no
But
fee
this
for
is an
that.
agricultural district? Is the whole property an agricultural district?
I believe the property is, yes.
I believe it is also. And the reason I asked the question is that there's just read something through here. The document you gave to me under zoning, 220-34 authority. The provisions in this article shall not apply to any generally accepted agricultural operation or practice within an established Ontario County agricultural district.
That chapter of code was changed earlier this year.
Well, then why the heck did I get it on August 5th, 2020 as being that's the code?
Because it takes time for that to be revised.
When was it changed? What board meeting was it changed at?
I believe it was March.
So 6 months later, 5 months later, you're telling me I had to do something I can't see. The document you handed me.
That's correct.
Boy, I'm going to stay on the agenda for this one. I'll tell you that right now. It's unbelievable. Eric,
Okay,
you handed me that document. You handed me that document. At no time did you call out and say that is item D is not applicable.
I'm sorry, Greg, but that is, what I'm telling you right now is accurate. The town changed the code back in March when they were doing the ag revisions. That item that you addressed there, number D, was called out in the Labella zoning audit and revised in March.
But not available to the public until now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was revised, but it's not my call when the E-code gets updated.
Well, I will also say it's not my fault for not being told that it was revised.
Yep, I would agree.
Well, the form itself is just it's a one-page form. It's very simple to fill out, and there's no fee. So,
But my point is, Chuck, the point of this one is that item D, the provisions in this article shall not apply to any generally accepted agricultural operation or practice within an established Ontario County. I'm going to put up a tent to store the hay then. That's how. If I live by every rule, every step of the process, and I get surprised.
I'm still reading. I'm trying to read the
Item D.
text. Yeah. So your appeal, Greg, is that you shouldn't have to go through this at all, or are you appealing?
What I'm concerned about, Chuck, is this is a business that's going to go out of business, okay? Because regulations and process get in the way of a harmless idea to put up 2 tents on 30 acres, to consume 1/10 of 1% of the acreage for 2 tents. That's what my concern is. And we're making a mountain out of a molehill. Now I've heard the number went from 100 to now plus another potential 400, plus to another forms to be filled out. It's just, where is the spirit of the town of Canandaigua to help our business?
Greg, I believe that the town is making revisions that will help businesses. And I think that you're aware that we are making some of those changes, but unfortunately, a lot of this stuff takes a lot of time. I mean, you and I have talked about that.
Why aren't we allowed, if we know that there's a change going in place, why aren't we allowed to be made aware of that? These people they run an inn. They don't track the zoning laws in the town of Canandaigua.
Yeah, I agree. But when I said to you, this needs a special use for a temporary use, that was correct. I don't see why that's changed at all, despite this section of the code, which, again, it was on the town board's agenda, not that they would track it. And it's available for anybody to see, again, not that they would look here other than E-code. But
Eric, don't do that now, please. Don't do that, because that's just going to make it worse. We're going to have a conversation that neither one of us are going to like. And that's just reality of the marketplace, that when we have residents in the town of Canandaigua that have run a successful business and are adversely impacted by COVID-19, they have lost significant opportunity because the people are not allowed to travel into the state. A lot of their customers come from out of state. They're repeat customers. They have a great business. And now we're getting in the way of something, and we're going to charge them up to $500 at this point to have this determination that this is something they can do. Where's the spirit of the town of Canandaigua?
what would you like the town to do, Greg?
I would like to have approval for the request and not have to pay, hang on 1 second, please. Not have to pay $500 to put up 2 tents.
Well, the planning board will consider their approval in September, as the process allows.
Right, 1 month of lost revenue from a 1 month from a lost revenue perspective for the chalet that can't afford to lose any revenue. And on top of the lost revenue, you know how many nights they have to sell out the room or the rooms to make that work?
Yeah. I understand, Greg, and I know that you understand that I don't want to see the chalet close. We're not trying to do that, but we can't arbitrarily enforce the code to the
There's
town.
no arbitrariness in it.
What?
I said there's no arbitrariness in it. You said arbitrarily. What's the arbitrarily side of my request?
Because if the code reads that it needs a special use permit to do this, and you just want the approval, then, there's no process involved, but we are going through the process, and the planning board will consider that approval. Chuck can speak to how the planning board might feel about it, but my personal opinion is that it's probably not a major request.
No, and I think the only issue would be the operational issues that I happened to mention regarding parking, and that's the kind of questions that the board's going to bring up. I don't think there's any big engineering concerns here. We're not affecting drainage. We're not affecting runoff, that kind of stuff. I think it's just the board will question how the operations of these these residential tents are going to be used, and that's what they'll want to know, and they'll act accordingly. So it would be the September 8th meeting would be the night of this being on the agenda. So since it does not involve the ZBA, thank God, it'll be September 8th. So that's when the meeting would be, Greg.
And is that, I just saw on my calendar, that's 3 weeks from today, right? Tomorrow, rather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think August is an extra long month, that's why. The Mondays fall oddly, so.
So it'll be the day after Labor Day.
Right.
Okay.
We're at August,
September 8th.
September 8th. Okay.
6 p.m. we start.
Yep.
And we're yet to be determined whether it'll be virtual or in person. I tend to lean toward virtual.
Yeah, I assume it will be virtual.
Mm-hmm. And since this is a PRC meeting and you go over things that you need from the applicant, anything else, Eric, that you need? Did we get a waiver for a professionally prepared plan? That's certainly warranted in this case, for sure.
I believe so.
I didn't see it on the FTP site.
No, I guess not.
Okay, well, ag statement, the waiver, they're each a one-page fill out. I think it's, geez, if you want to fill the thing out, Eric, the applicants can sign them. You probably know better what's to be asked for than they would. And anything else we need?
No.
Okay. So John, it's a seeker unlisted, or we're saying, or type 2, Lance?
I think this is a type 2 action. I think it's under all the requirements that would trigger us to do a more thorough review based on size and square footage, which are the triggers. In this case, it'd be less than all those. So
Okay.
I would state that this is a type 2 action, which doesn't require us to do anything more than just state type 2 action.
Okay.
Okay, type 2 is very simple. John, you're square on that. Who we sending it out to?
The watershed inspector, Chris Jensen, the Ag Advisory Committee, and the Cheshire Fire Department, just because there's life safety, but
Okay.
they generally don't comment back anyways.
And it requires to be advertised, which that's part of what your $100 pays for, Greg, in the paper. So that we'll take care of that, right, Eric?
Right.
Okay. Greg, you got anything else?
Yeah, so I just want to understand, I understand where the $100 goes. I get that, Chuck. I know that very well. So the question is, there was a $400 figure mentioned a few minutes ago. I'm not sure where exactly, I know where it came from. I know who said it, but I'd like to understand the elements of costs associated with that $400, please.
Sure. So if this does come to MRB Group, and I didn't hear our name cost, we have time for planning board meetings, PRC meetings, and or preparation of resolutions. That's a fee that's been established by the town for us to complete those tasks for the town. Whether or not the town chargebacks that fee to the applicant, that is up to the town. It could be up to $400 depending upon how many of those tasks we're obligated to complete. If we're not obligated to complete any of those tasks, there won't be any fee. But that's typically where it ranges between $250 to $400, depending upon the application and the tasks that we're asked to complete.
Back to you, Eric, real quick. Are you required under a special use to send it to the town engineer for review, or is it something that the board, or in this case, the chairman, could waive if he doesn't feel that there are engineering issues that have to be necessarily looked at?
There's nothing that requires you to send it there.
Okay,
It's
well,
just
as I said, I think the planning board's issues will be more operational. Excuse me. So I'd be willing to forego any review by MRB on this application.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep. It is 9:30. If we could move on to the next application.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Okay, Greg, thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Who we got next?
This is the Brovitz application.
Okay. Bill Schultz?
What's that?
Is that Bill Schultz?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hanlon Brovitz. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Oh, Brovitz, I got you. Okay. ZBA and Planning Board, right?
Yep.
Down on Menteith. While you're pulling it up, is this the one we gave approval for not too long ago?
Yeah.
the-
Maybe back
the-
in 2019. And the property came before you guys a couple times, but
Yeah, I know we
Before
talked
they-
about the stream, stabilizing the stream, making sure there's no erosion, making sure they understand they're in a floodplain, all that, all those good issues. Okay.
oh, sorry, here we go. Is everybody, looks like Costas is with us. Jay Harris, Maxwell, you're with us, and then Brovitz is. Okay. If you guys want, you can introduce the application, tell us what you guys are doing, proposing. Yeah, we'll start there. You guys hear me?
Yeah, is Jay on? I don't think he's on yet.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
You guys
Okay.
want to introduce the application?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're looking to do at the Menteith Point now is the detached storage shed that's at the project right now. It's the smaller one in the back. It's about 15 by 15, 15 by 20. We're looking to remove that building because it's in rough shape, and we're looking to do a new storage building right in this, pretty much in the same spot, probably twice as big, probably 15 by 30 in size. Keeping it in the same general configuration spot that the existing is in. And with this facility, because we run into the situations of no basement at the principal structure, we're trying to do kind of a two-story building back here so we can gain as much storage as we can on this site. So right now, our new proposed building is 30 feet long by 15 4 wide. Setbacks are shown on Evan's drawings, and we've submitted some floor plans and elevations of the project on Hanlon title block. So those are the architectural elevations and plans that we have of the building. The elevations are staying in context with the design of the principal home. So we just have the same materials, same architectural style, window types, etc. For these, for the zoning part of this, we need 4 variances. We have 3 side setbacks and then 1 for height.
I wanted to check that just because I know that you guys got these variances back in 2013 for the couple of setbacks, like front side and to the stream. And I believe they might still apply. So
Okay.
if this doesn't increase those, which I don't think it does, 0.2, those variances likely still stand. There likely still be the one for height, but I'll note all that in my determination.
Okay, great. Yeah, and as we've been going through, each time we've kind of set this up, we always use those setbacks based off that original, so we really haven't deviated from that. But yeah, depending on your findings, if it just comes down to height, that would be good.
Chuck, do you have any questions?
No, I was just saying, so moving the building to the southeast, it's essentially the same width. Well, maybe it's a little narrower, but that doesn't create any other variance requirements because you're still within the building envelope. Maybe not, 5.2 feet, okay, from the corner. But you'll determine, Eric, if how much is non-conforming currently and how much of the new building is part of that non-conformity?
Yes, but I think what the process that you're talking about, like documenting non-conformities and then, potentially improving on them, is probably not required in this instance because those variances have been officially granted by the zoning board, which is, I guess, a stronger argument.
And historically, the creek has never gotten up as far as the shed or the garage, I guess, up to that elevation, that level. Hopefully not. And it is out of the floodplain? Or is it in the flood?
You know what the first floor elevation is? What the proposed first floor elevation is?
Yeah, so we brought it
Oh, it's 694. Okay, that's the same as the house.
yeah, so per the code, the height required above the floodplain. So we're meeting that, same as the house.
And do you know what the existing one is?
I don't off the top of my head, but I know it's quite a bit lower.
So does this mean that you're going to bring in fill to bring the driveway up, to ramp up to the building?
Yep, there will be a slight grade to get up to that elevation.
Okay, can we take a look at the contours? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so it looks like one of the existing contours just near it's like 692. It's in front of the existing garage.
Okay, so it's going to be 2 feet higher.
Correct.
Yep.
And my other question is, maybe this is addressed on the plan, but the increase in the footprint of the building is going to change your overall lot coverage and building coverage calculations, right? But as I remember, you were not close to the limit on those anyway. Is that...
Correct. So we've updated that. We actually, because it's a little bit smaller of a footprint than the existing, and the way we're kind of working the driveway, the numbers pretty much the same, if not a little less. We kind of had to swoop the driveway in a little bit to the north to make that entrance kind of work to it. But we have updated all the lot coverage
The second floor of the new building, that'll be storage also?
Yes.
Okay. No possibility of a living quarters? Okay.
No, there's no water running out to that. We'll have electric, but there's no water, sanitary or anything running out to that building.
Okay. Is that a metal roof on the building?
It is currently shown that, yes.
No,
Okay.
but it's not going to be, it will be asphalt. It'll match the house.
Okay. So I'll make a note of that on our drawing then.
So where's your runoff from the roof? Downspouts or where does
Yes.
it go?
Yeah, so they'll come out to a splash block, and then we kind of have a little diversion swale on the side. Tough being, that close to the lake and the creek, but most of it will run off on site.
So it's running toward the lake or toward the creek? Both, I guess.
Ultimately, it will work its way to the creek first.
Okay. We've had an issue with a couple recent applications where asphalt roofs were proposed and planning board members were concerned that the eventual degradation of the roof would result in asphalt chips and going down the downspout and into the creek. So we can't require metal roofs, but there's been a request a lot of times that possibly metal roofs be considered, but you just have to make sure that you have enough infiltration between where the downspout daylights to the water course to pick up the roof silt before it enters the water.
Yeah, we can make note of that. Yep, and look at that for sure.
It'll come up. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I mean,
We can look into it.
yeah, we can look into a metal roof too. I mean, that's not, we just wanted it to match the house, so. But we're not adverse to it.
Well, I know there's probably a cost consideration, but I guess another good part of metal roofs is they last much longer. So how's everything else going out there at your property? Things going well?
Things are going great. Yep.
Okay. It's a lovely site. Okay, so we're, what's this, type 2 seeker?
Yeah, we're amending the original, so I'd say, yeah, this is just type 2. I think we're good.
I think the original. Oh, well, it might, okay. Yeah, type 2 is fine.
I mean, it's a single family residential is type 2 anyway, so this isn't any different. I think we're good.
Eric, does this need to go to the county planning?
Yeah, for variance and site plan approval, it'll go to the county.
And it will require a public hearing for the variance.
Yep, definitely will.
Okay, thanks.
I don't see anything else. It's pretty cut and dry. Hopefully dry.
As far as referrals, I have it going to Chris Jensen, the ECB, Jim Fletcher, just for the water and whatnot being nearby, MRB Group, County Planning, Jim Russell, the Chief of the Cheshire Fire Department, and Kevin Mulvaney, and then obviously the Zoning Board and Planning Board.
Okay, so this would be heard on the 15th at ZBA of September. So the planning board would get it on the 22nd.
Got it.
Okay. ECB is gonna look at, yeah, you did say ECB, right, Eric?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And I will send out the checklist with the open circles and whatnot after the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
And you're gonna determine what variances still hold and which have to be amended?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
You're-
won't be by today, but probably by early next week. Usually once we get any revised plans, then I'll actually finalize the determination. But if the applicants want, they can, reach out to me later this week and I'll have a better idea.
Good.
So Eric, when you review this checklist now, if there's any comments or adjustments we make to the drawings, when do we have to return the number of copies back to you?
Friday.
By Friday, okay.
Anything else? Sarah Linda, you okay?
Yeah, this seems fine to me. I think it's, fits in well, and you didn't say anything about the nearby other garage storage building that's quite close to it, but that's, I think, even larger and also has a second floor, so it seems pretty compatible.
Yeah. And
Okay. I have nothing else.
Okay. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day.
thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Before we go on to the next one, I had a question up on the first one, except I was muted, so you didn't hear it. I'm kind of on the fence about whether the ECB would want to see that one about the tents, and I'll talk with Joyce about it, but I don't know, not having a site plan to look at, and it sounded like they were kind of non-committal about how many tents they were talking about, so possibly the ECB would like to look at that.
I think the number of tents is 2. I didn't hear him say that there was going to be more. It seems to me, in all my conversations, it's just been 2.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to work with them to get a better sketch plan showing kind of where everything is and what's proposed.
Okay, well, I'll talk with Joyce and see if she feels differently. If it's only going to be 2, my thought is let's skip it for the ECB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important, Eric, just because that's probably what will be restricted. I would imagine that the planning board, as part of the special use permit, would define that and restrict them to whatever that number is that they're asking them to, so that it can't increase, which would then in theory increase traffic and other potential issues.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. We do have a couple minutes. Let me see if we got enough time to do one.
I see Rocco's out there.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he's got a mic or audio. I don't know that.
Oh, okay. He's just listening to see if we talk about him. Right, Rocco? Wherever we are.
Okay, so I'll one real quickly. We did have an application, I think it was 2 months ago, on Butler Road. And let me pull up the site plan real quick. It was for 3 variances at the time. So if you guys recall this application, it's for this proposed barn behind the house, or a detached building behind the house. And it was within 100 feet of the stream. They were requesting it to be 25 feet when 22 feet was allowed. And then there was also like habitable space and whatnot in in the accessory building. And so essentially they were incomplete at that time, or deemed incomplete at that time, and then they have revised the application and submitted that back to us, eliminating the need for a height variance and the habitable space, but they're still proposing it to be this far from the creek. So they will need a variance for that.
Eric, is this to be added to this meeting for the zoning board?
Yeah, that will be on the September 15th zoning board.
What's the number on it?
CPN 20-033.
So we did this at a previous PRC meeting?
Yeah, it looks like in June.
Okay, I'll put it back.
Okay, and then here's the referrals at that time, which they will do again.
Okay, I'll repeat it.
With the exception of Ontario County Planning Board, because there's only a single variance, it won't go to the County Planning Board.
Okay.
So that's all ZBA, no planning board?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that was quick, too quick. Let's see. So 4977 Station House Drive. Maybe we can start our conversation on this one or finish it. Let's see. So this property is in the RLD. This is kind of a bad drawing, but we do have a better image somewhere. What they're proposing to do is to put up 2 retaining walls. That's this purple line. The yellow is an area of regrading to essentially flatten that out in both areas. Essentially, that's the extent of it. There's a utility line here. There's also, I believe, water utilities here. They have egress windows on this side and I believe on this side as well. These ones are kind of in like a egress pit, you could say. And so to get better access to it, is my understanding, they want to kind of regrade that so that it probably looks better and so that there's better egress out of the basement. And this, I believe, is for a walkout. This is egress to the basement. Remove dirt, put in retaining walls and windows. So there's the basement. This is the south side. They are, so this is, his drawing that he made. So
Yeah, I guess they're requesting a waiver of engineered plan.
that's correct. And then there's a drainage swale that runs down here. And so, obviously during site or during construction, they'll have the silt fence up to stop the soil from running off site. Afterwards, it will drain, as it does today, to the swale to the east.
Any details on the wall as to how that's to be built?
I don't believe we have those. No.
All right, well, that's,
John, if you would add that to the minutes to request the details on a retaining wall.
Okay,
and I guess the other thing is just ensuring that there's adequate fire safety out of the house as a result of, I mean, didn't quite follow what they're extending, what they're leaving as far as fire access.
So on this end, there is a window, but it's a kind of smaller, like the minimum required amount, and we have permit files kind of showing the image a little bit better than these do, but this is kind of like a wall that runs out there, and I believe there's a kind of a ladder down here to that window or something.
Yeah.
So if you were to exit from down there in the event of a fire, you'd have to kind of climb up this ladder and get out. This will be changed up to make a larger window. I believe that's here. Right, so this is
So
what
that
it
area,
looks
that area will be cut to expose that wall more. Okay, and then the retaining wall to hold the bank up on the other side.
Yep.
Okay. So if anything, they're improving access
Right.
or egress from the house.
That's right.
And on the other side,
Kind of similar. They have a window here. They're just kind of cutting this down and flattening it out, and then they'll be adding like a window over here.
Have they requested a check for location of utilities, or have they done
Yeah, I
that? Or
believe they have that. They're aware of some utilities here or in that area. And then there's also, like I said, a water line here that's not shown right now.
yikes. Okay. So what's the average cut? 3-4 feet?
Oh,
Average, probably not 3-4 feet. But I don't have that number.
Okay.
what are they going to do with the material? Are they just going to truck it off site?
Right. I think he said that they were going to use some of it, just a small amount. I can't remember where. But most of it's going to be going off-site.
Lance, what's our grading threshold as far as throwing them into a more detailed review?
Well, I mean, drainage and all that stuff is geared to 20,000 square feet, which they're not there,
No.
but I would think the town probably would want some, I think it makes sense for us to at least ask for a detail of what that green line is. I'm assuming that's erosion control. So what are they proposing? They can get a state detail that shows silt fence if they don't want to get a professional engineer to provide them one. I would think you'd want something that says they're going to put silt fence here and here's the detail. Boom. Like you asked for the retaining wall, they would have that. It looks like they're under the threshold for everything else in terms of grading, but I would also think you would want a statement from them that says that they're not taking that soil and plopping it somewhere else on site that we're not aware of, which then in turn could increase their disturbance threshold.
Either show it or say it's
Right.
to be removed.
Yeah,
or show
exactly.
it to
Say
be
it's going to be removed.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's going to be temporarily stored on site, Chris is going to want to know where that location is too. So I would think those are the elements that we would at least ask for them to at least provide some kind of a statement in regards to.
I would ask for if they know where the utilities are to
And that
show
as
them.
well.
You got that, John?
Yep, got it. Lance, the seeker on this?
This is a type 2 action under seeker. It's minimal. Yep.
And Eric, does it go to the county planning?
The audio is going bad.
Oh, they're resetting the phones. Eric lost audio.
Yeah.
They're resetting the phones on him.
Okay, what was I going to ask? Oh, I guess, John, they should also show any restoration requirements regarding the restabilization of the grass, the turf. I guess that would sort of fall under soil erosion, right, Lance?
I think you make a good point. I think if they could,
And
if
the
they would,
phosphorus note.
yeah, I would say if they could give us some kind of a cover letter that says we're going to do this, and then the topsoil is going to be removed. They show the utilities. We're going to stabilize the site upon completion with this, meeting your guys' code, the phosphorus notes. I think that's kind of what we'd be looking for, because that's what we're going to see on the plan is really the notes.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And John, I forgot, I think I mentioned it, but just want to make sure, I would have them provide us the state detail of the silt fence or whatever that erosion control that they're going to provide. Something that documents that they're going to do this and it's going to look like this. And I would recommend them using the New York State DEC erosion control manual, which is right online, to print that detail.
Okay, got it.
I apologize for that. I don't know what happened there, but my phone shut off on me. Was there any
Maybe-
questions you guys need me to answer?
No, we were going over things. We were not lost sheep while you were gone.
Eric, does this go to the county planning?
No.
Okay.
So who's it going to?
This would go to Chris Jensen, I'm assuming the ECB, Jim Fletcher, I have MRB Group on here unless you guys feel otherwise, Kevin O'Vaney, and the City of Canandaigua.
No, I want Lance to look at that retaining wall. And I'm
Okay.
a little nervous.
I'm not sure that,
Go ahead, Sarah Linda. Sorry.
I'm not sure the ECB needs to see this, but I can talk that over with Joyce if you'd like.
Sure. If you want, just check with her and then let me know, or let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, I get a little nervous when a landscaper designs a retaining wall, so that's why I want to make sure it gets looked at closely.
Yeah, I think it'd be good if they could provide that before the meeting. I know a lot of times we get the statement that they haven't designed it yet and they'll provide it to us after. I think it'd be good to have that prior if they could do so, or some type of a detail.
Yeah, that's sort of the key to the whole application.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else on this one? I'm going to check to see. Thought Anthony was going to join us.
No, we're done. I'm done.
Okay. All right. This will be another favorite for you guys, Chuck. This is,
I'm waiting for it. If you say Daisy Way.
that's the one I was going for. Why didn't I?
Ay. I guess my preface to this whole thing is where is the breakdown with these first floor elevations? Why do we wait till the house is built, it's occupied, and then lo and behold, we find out it's 2 foot higher than it's supposed to be? Who's at the watch while it's being built, or isn't anyone?
I mean, the code enforcement officers can't really check the elevation. I mean, we do at the end once we get a survey. So it's kind of up to the builder at that point, I believe. I would think that there's probably some that are in construction right now that, were already, let's say, queued up, before this whole thing has happened with Lacrosse Circle, with Old Brookside. And so hopefully moving forward, as new ones are constructed, they pay closer attention to it.
Well, in this case, if I remember, the cover letter that came from, I guess, BME was that decision was made to raise the floor 2 feet due to the topography of the lot. And so it sounds like this decision was made prior to even the foundation being dug. Or maybe the foundation was dug before they set the floor joists. They decided to raise the thing 2 feet. At that point, they should have notified someone for the town that, hey, we're going to raise this thing 2 feet.
Probably.
Anyway, it is what it is.
Let's finish that conversation a little bit. But now that Anthony and Aaron are with us, we can go over 5B3 and the various other ones that Anthony's got for us this month. You want to walk us through, Anthony and Aaron?
Yeah. One second. Let me just get back in here. All right. So what we have here is the final 5B3, the final stage of the cross. If you go down to the layout, there you go. We're gonna end it off with a cul-de-sac, with a larger cul-de-sac, and that will be the completion of that Lacrosse Circle. It's a couple lots fewer than what we had previously designed from prior iterations of what you guys saw. So there are a few less. We're about, Rocco, are you there? Trying to get, I know Rocco's on.
Audio or something.
Yeah, I'm here. All right, there he is.
I thought you guys had a note somewhere that said something about the number of lots.
Yeah. So originally there was 155 lots, according to the original seeker back in the 80s. And Ron Brandt made a deal with Hank that I was not privy to, where we could do 157 lots. I don't know how they got to do that, if we were to build that sewer line back through there. But as it turns out, in the end, we're only going to have 152 instead of 157. So we're actually 3 under the original count. So we're well within the seeker, if that's an issue that we need to address. Is that what we're wondering?
I think we're good there, as long as we're under the amount that was approved, which you guys are. So. Okay.
That cul-de-sac is the same size cul-de-sac that was constructed on Laura Lane. So that template was taken from the Laura Lane cul-de-sac that the town built a number of years ago when Jim Hecker was still the superintendent.
Does it still meet the design standards today?
Yes. It's oversized, so the radiuses are a little bit better than, your typical smaller cul-de-sac.
Is Jim Fletcher, Rocco, okay with that configuration, those types of cul-de-sacs with the island?
Almost all of his cul-de-sacs have islands in them.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he, given the...
He does not want to plow a cul-de-sac. He does not want them paved.
Well, especially in this one, he's got to have an area to lose the snow because he's got driveways coming off every part of the radius. So, I mean, he's got to have an area, and that's what that island could be, is an area to put the snow.
Yep.
So how's this differ from the preliminary plan?
Chuck, it really doesn't differ that much.
Yeah.
Are you talking the preliminary plan from 1980s?
No, oh, okay. I thought a recent preliminary plan was approved for this particular extension of
No.
La Crosse. No?
No.
Okay.
The only preliminary approval we have goes all the way back to 87, which this was not a cul-de-sac. This was a,
Thoroughfare. It went from Lake
Was-
Breeze Way to
Yeah.
Lacrosse Circle.
Yeah, I remember that. And then I thought, yeah, okay, well, this plan that we're showing now, is that,
What you're seeing right here is, I believe, the most up-to-date one of the preliminary overall.
but it's not really a preliminary overall because it's all it is a, none of this has ever been approved. It's just an idea, you know, like this is what we might do, but we never had a preliminary approval on any of it.
okay. So you got the first 6 lots coming in, and I remember that. That was obvious. And then all we talked about was, ifs and wherefores on the rest of it. Okay. All right. So instead of doing something like this, you would like to formally apply for the plan that you put up for that one.
Correct.
Okay.
We've cut it back to, cut down on the amount of construction up on the hillside. We've limited to the one area down low. We probably got all of this going in on 5 acres, So we're conserving a lot of the uplands and not getting up on those hills and disturbing ground.
The one thing I see, wasn't there a swale to be constructed like on the back end of these ones as part of like the approval for this lot?
No, there never was. All that water runs down into the Lacrosse Circle along the road.
No, I think.
Oh, no, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
There's a swale. There's a swale we have to add. We actually have to add that swale to this plan. We don't show it on this plan, but the swale was actually constructed. Anthony, we'll have to go out in the field and survey that swale.
We can add that in.
Yep, you're right. You're right, Eric. I'm sorry.
And then, in a similar vein, what's the possibility of providing some sort of like easement or whatever along these so that in the future, it's not filled in and somebody builds a pool right in the middle of it and blocks that swale? We've just seen that issue in like,
We're not against that. We're not against that.
So Eric, you're suggesting that they put an easement to the town over the drainage swale?
yes, I mean, I just.
All right,
I
they would
just
need to
wanna
have an,
protect that.
yep, understandable. I just want to make sure I understand so that I know what we're looking for. And then as part of that, you're going to have access to that swale. So it can't just be a floating easement out there. You have to have, like I think you guys shown with that conservation easement on the other section, that 10-foot easement that got us to it. I think you're going to have to do something similar here. Wherever
but
you want to put it.
I've never really seen anything. I don't know how that'll work,
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll have to look at.
Okay.
You might be able to tie it into that drainage. If you looked, I'm looking right now at what appears to be lot 30, right there where you are. There's that drainage easement. Maybe there's a way to extend that up onto that open parcel up around it all, Rocco, to give
I
us
agree.
access.
That's what I was thinking as I was sitting here. That's a non-issue. If the town wants that, we can figure that out.
Yeah, we'll have to talk through that one, but I understand. I just want to make sure I was hearing everybody correct. So Rocco, just to be clear, to make sure I understand, because I think there's different, language being out here. This would be for final phase 5B3, correct?
This is it. This is it. No more Fox Ridge. I know you heard that before, but it's true this time.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting closer and closer every day.
I'm running out of land.
Do we have to approve or revise the overall preliminary, Lance?
Eric, go back to the last preliminary overall that we amended with the previous two sections and the phasing was this plan, I believe. I think our goal, every time we do a final, we have to state that the planning board's has to go back and state that this proposed final is in substantial conforming to the preliminary. And that would be what we would have to do. I don't know that we would have to amend it unless you guys felt that it was different. But Eric, correct me where I'm wrong. I think we're just simply going to say that plan is adhering to this plan to some degree, that they're substantially conforming to it, and go with the final from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
To answer your question, Chuck, if you guys are in agreement with that, there wouldn't be an amended preliminary plan that would be required.
Okay. Where do we stand with the sanitary sewer for the back of the homes on Middle Cheshire?
Okay, so let me address that, Chuck. So the reason that was ever put in there was Ron Brandt and Hank Eifert came up with this, and I call it zoning for dollars, where in exchange for 2 extra lots, which I don't know legally how they even did it, and I've talked to my attorney. My attorney says the deal was illegal to begin with, because there's no way you could go beyond the 155 lots, and that was absolutely not the thing to do. So we're not even getting 155, we're getting 152. And our discussions with the county is they don't like that sewer line because they can't drive up to it. There's no access to it. And I don't want to build a road down between 2 houses that anybody can access to get to the sewer line. It's going to look like hell right in the middle of my subdivision. So,
wasn't there an easement?
That's the release of the easement.
So that's a long way of saying that the easement was apparently released in 2014.
The county released it because they have this easement sitting out there that didn't mean anything, and they knew it wasn't going to get built. So we petitioned them on Hank's behalf at the time to release it, and they did.
So this easement does not exist, essentially.
That's correct.
And now you're no longer proposing it.
Well, the way it came about, it wasn't county mandated. It was something that Ron Brandt and Hank Eifert came up with to give Hank 2 extra lots. But legally, I don't know how you could expand the seeker beyond 155. So I don't even know how that trade could have happened, you know?
Sure.
It doesn't seem right.
But in the recent past, haven't there been residents that live on Middle Cheshire that have come to planning board meetings related to an issue with something in Fox Ridge? And they said, well, how about our sewer? When are we going to get our sewer? And I can remember the town, the planning board, I think Tom had said a couple times, well, that'll come up when we get into that particular phase.
Just so everybody knows.
And here we are.
Anthony and Rocco have never promised to put the sewer in. It was something that was done with your predecessor and my predecessor. And actually, it wasn't even, I don't believe it was legal. So, you know, to hold us to it now and screw up our subdivision, because that's what it's going to do. And it's something the county doesn't even want to do. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I just know there are residents who are looking forward to sewer out there.
Well, they can build one if they want. We'll give them an easement if they want to build it. But you know, that's a $50,000 item to build that thing, and
oh yeah, I realize that.
And for us not getting nothing out of it, I don't, you know, I don't know how we could force that upon me when the 2 people that made the deal are long gone. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That was a condition of approval of the amended preliminary. This was from December of 2019 or November of 2019. I don't know if that means we may have to amend it. That was again, that was a condition of approval. It's been carried over for a number of years, so that may need to be amended then.
Well, somebody's got to explain that, why it's going away, and it's not going to be me. And I know there's some people who are anticipating that sewer being put in. So
Yeah.
be ready to deal with it, fellas.
I'm ready to deal with it. In fact, I was ready to deal with it today. And if you look at the amended plat, it doesn't say I'll build a line. It said a 20-foot easement would be provided. And we're willing to put the 20-foot easement in place. But it doesn't say we have to build it there. All it says is we will supply it so that it could be built.
Okay.
I think it becomes a legal issue. And I think that if you look back in the minutes from 2014 or whenever that was done, you'll see that there was this deal made that I think was not even proper. And if we're not going to get the extra 2 lots, how can we be held to something that we weren't even party to, you know?
Yeah, but it came with a lot, and this is all back before I was just a pup when all this was consummated, and it was just something that sort of carried on, and I've heard it mentioned in many meetings. So we should have put it to rest earlier, but it's now's, I guess, the time to address it.
I guess I've always said that I wasn't willing to put it in, and it's always been something that just kind of keeps popping up. It's just kind of like a thorn in the side, you know, for lack of a better word.
All right. Well,
All right. Where else? The other thing, speaking of issues, where are we with Doug's decree about approvals in Fox Ridge?
With what?
it was, Anthony, you can probably touch on this. It was kind of related to the stormwater issue of a couple weeks ago now.
Yeah, we
But
cleaned
I
that up.
believe that did.
We addressed that.
Yeah, that was addressed the day after.
Okay, well, this had gone a little further back than that, Eric. I think it was, Doug had said, until further notice, no approvals in Fox Ridge. Lance, I
Okay,
think you
Yeah,
responded.
no, I know this is in regards to Lacrosse Circle, which have since, to my understanding, and Rocco and Eric can correct me where I'm wrong, there was an inspection done by the town. The town identified there were some issues. We required Rocco to post a new letter of credit to cover those costs of repair of that road. Rocco agreed to repair of that road, provided a statement in the form of an email maybe to the town to cover that.
No. The road's been repaired. The road is
Road is done. The road is fixed.
Right.
road
I'm
that we-
saying, I'm
we
just
had
saying.
Ruston Paving.
prior- I'm sorry.
Ruston Paving came in and fixed the road.
Perfect.
And we're waiting for Lance or the town to come up with a new estimate for a new letter of credit to put in place for the top coat and a couple missing items. We were assured by Jim Fletcher and Eric when I fixed the road that we were good to go. So it's kind of news to me that we're on hold.
Rocco, I don't know that you are or not.
No, I don't think you are. I was just questioning, has it been resolved? I'm just checking off the boxes
Yeah.
here.
It was originally related to the road, but that issue's been corrected.
Very good.
Yeah, the road busted up on us, Chuck. And and it wasn't Anthony and I's fault. We used a bad contractor. Which happens.
Yep. Got to keep an eye on them. All right. Well, then I guess we're ready to move forward. This is going to be on the which meeting, guys? The 8th or the
Second.
September the 22nd?
22nd.
Okay.
Does this need any kind of a public hearing, or that's already been done?
It'll need a public hearing.
No seeker.
No seeker.
Anybody got to look at it? I'm sure they do.
Yes, I have it going to John Berry at the Canada Lake County Sewer District, Jim Sprague at City Public Works, just because they have their easement running through it, Chris Jensen, the ECB, Jim Fletcher, MRB Group, County Planning Board, the Cheshire Fire Department, and Kevin Mulvaney. and then the
Do
planning.
you want me to get it to the health department, Eric?
Sure.
It's got to go to the health department also. You want us to get it there?
Well, I'll put it as a referral on here.
Yeah, it's got to go to the health department because of the
That
water.
for the water, okay, because you're public sewer, okay.
It's the health department has to sign up for the subdivision and the water.
Okay.
Somebody wants to subdivide the 15 on the other side of the street is lot. Okay.
Am I right about that, Lance? Lance?
Muted.
I was muted, sorry. I was saying yes, you're correct.
Yeah, because the water, sewer, and subdivision have to be signed off by the health department.
Yep, you're correct.
Yeah, that's a really good question. It almost really kind of what sometimes
Okay. As with other applications, I will send. I'll send the checklist with items to be addressed. The PDF that you guys provided doesn't have sheet 2 of 8, which looks like Rocco's, just your last name.
Yeah, Anthony's going to insert that in there.
Yeah, I'll send it over.
You got to insert it, Anthony.
Yeah, I can do that.
The existing conditions and
Will do.
you got to add that easement along the swale.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. It's not shown on here, but there is on the other map showing like a 80-foot front setback, a 40-foot front setback here, but an 80-foot front setback kind of all the way around this cul-de-sac. My opinion, that's pretty extreme.
You think it's what?
I understand. Extreme, an 80-foot front setback. I understand some of these lots are a little bit constrained, but even if it was a 60-foot front setback and allow them to build whatever, I don't know that we need to require an 80 front setback off that cul-de-sac. And then the other thing not shown here, not that probably a big deal, but this portion of these lots is to be annexed to Anthony's parcel off to the right.
So if I can take down the information, I can get it.
I guess I have a question too. Are those trees shown in the right of way, Rocco? Is that what's being proposed?
Yep.
All right. I'll have to talk with Jim. I'm not sure that he wants them in the right of way. He may want them on the individual properties, but that's for discussion purposes.
We can push them back.
Right. And then I think he might be required to, I can't speak for the planning board, but like previous section, I don't see the easement for the sidewalk, which may or may not be required of you.
It was a condition of approval, I believe. Back when.
Yep.
And also
Number
there
11.
was the, yep.
We can certainly add that in. That's not an issue.
And then there was also, there are trees kind of in this buffer up here.
No, I mentioned that to Lance today, and I mentioned it to Eric that over the last 15 years since that was first talked about, those trees that are in there have grown up and they're all 15, 20 feet tall. If you were to walk in there, you couldn't even find your way out. It doesn't make sense for me to knock them all down and grow a bunch of trees that are going to die. So I'm hoping the board will let me put some kind of a conservation easement along there to preserve what's there, because what's there is a great buffer.
Okay.
It's very mature, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
Those were part of the original, like almost like 15 years ago. So yeah, I'm sure there's been a lot of change since then, Rocco. So I don't,
yeah.
I'm sure that
the growth, the growth has been explosive,
Pictures would help.
Oh, yeah, outside of the limits of construction.
Mhm. Streetlights, I see streetlights was mentioned. Okay.
All right. Send the checklist. Is there anything else from you guys?
No, we'll have to have a closeout party for Fox Ridge.
Yeah, we'll invite you. I'll bring the cake.
Social distanced.
Okay. All right. And then do you want to do 5B1?
Yeah, we got that little resub up there. So to give you a little background, we had somebody come along last winter before the COVID hit and wanted to buy those 2 lots. So we came into the town and we did an annexation and combined them. And then those people backed out of the deal. And now Frank Macri and his daughter are going to buy, and they want to go back to 2 lots. So quite simply, we're just going back to where we originally were. And the only reason why we went where we were, somebody bought both lots and then backed off. So that's kind of why we're where we're at.
So it was recorded as a single lot, and now that's what it is of record and has to be re-subdivided.
It was 2, went to 1, it's going back to 2.
Okay.
And like I said, if it was only because that's what happened with the deal.
Do you know, I know there was some conversation about having 5 lots off of a hammerhead.
It's only 4. It's only 4.
Well, you have this lot up here.
Lot 57, the first one on the right, is coming off the hammerhead, so it's coming off the town road.
Okay.
I talked to Jim about that. He's okay with that, and so we're back down to 4.
Okay. Do you want to see driveways on the plan, Chuck? I'll talk with Chris Jensen to see if he does too.
Yeah, I think didn't the original, when it was first time 2 lots, show the location? No, maybe not. Oh, maybe just had the setbacks. Okay. That's all we need.
Okay. For referrals, John Barry at Canada Lake County Sewer, Chris Jensen, haven't gone to the ECB because this was a cluster subdivision. Jim Fletcher, do you think, does MRB Group need to see this?
I don't think so. It seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. Cheshire Fire Department. The planning board.
Eric, does this need a public hearing or no?
Yes, because it's a subdivision.
And the seeker's already been done.
Yeah, I guess. Lance, do you agree with that? I mean,
So,
I guess the seeker's been done.
yeah, we did seeker in the overall thing. We're not adding more lots than what the original approval was. I think seeker's been good.
Okay. County planning?
No, just because it's into 2 lots.
Okay, got it, thanks.
So when this was got final subdivision for 3 lots and grading and whatnot. Does that need to be revised as part of this?
Hmm.
We've got to come in for each lot and do a site plan. Okay? So I would hope that when I get the house, I'll come in with a site plan before you guys for each individual house. That was what we planned on doing. Because until we know where they're going to build it and where they're going to put the drive and all that stuff, we're kind of, it's kind of shooting in the dark.
We just signed these plans, correct, Eric?
These are signed.
Yeah.
Yep. And now we're adding a 4th lot, or 5th lot, depending on how you look at it. And Rocco, you're saying you're going to come in individually for each one prior to issuance of a building permit?
Yep, site plan, yep.
Okay.
That's our plan. We've got to do one anyways. We might as well bring it in to show you.
No, I like that idea. I don't know that was what I was thinking was going to happen. We signed these as a final. This was your final site plan for those 3 lots. If you're going to come in individually for each building permit, I think that's probably a better approach. If the town is open to that, and we can go from there.
Let's say the lots on the right are okay. They didn't change. Let's say the 2 on the left, you can put a note on this map saying that they got to come in for site plan approval. And we'll just put a note on the map.
Eric, what do you think about that?
That's fine. We'll just have to, revise this to show that. I got to imagine it'll be a relatively simple change. You just kind of cut that off. Also, you'll have to show this driveway coming off from down here or whatever.
Yep.
But that's fine with me.
Seems pretty straightforward at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lance. We didn't look at the site plans for each lot as they were built. So, but it certainly makes, I'm not looking for more work for the planning board, but it certainly makes sense that once you have a style of home and they lay out a footprint for what the home looks like, then that's the appropriate time to have a site plan.
Yep.
So we will require, as part of this subdivision,
right, that note would have to be added.
Yeah, the site plan, once determined, the site plan for each lot shall be presented.
Yep.
Okay.
Eric, can I make a request?
Sure.
Is there any, because of our deal and the people wanting to move and Gerber wanting to build and all this stuff, is there any way we can get this one, because it's pretty straightforward, at the first meeting in September?
Yeah, I mean, there's no referrals. It's not going to Ontario County, so that's usually the holdup for it.
I'm okay.
It would help me out quite a bit because I could get that closing moving along.
You
As
agree with
long
that,
as,
Chuck?
yeah, I'm fine as long as Rocco Anthony get whatever's required in by Friday, I guess.
We will.
Okay. Did you get that, John? This will be on the September 8th agenda.
September 8th, and it needs a public hearing.
Yep.
Okay.
Good point.
Anything else?
All right, I'm signing off, guys. Thanks.
Hey, Rocco, we'll see you next Tuesday. You got your dog and pony show ready?
I'm gonna Thomas Road, yeah.
Okay, good. We'll see you then.
Okay.
7.
That's a Zoom meeting too?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
it is. 7:30. You're up at 7:30.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See you. hopefully we'll get Fox Ridge done this year.
Yeah.
All right. Back to, let's go back to Daisy Way. Okay. So there's our property.
I can just hear Ryan on this one.
You're gonna have a fit.
Well, it's upsetting. I mean, my German's up a little bit.
So this was the original approved one. And this is also the one that we signed recently.
Thank God it's not near lot 50.
I'm sure he'll probably be in anyways.
Yeah, he's within 500 feet.
Yep. This is what they're proposing, so it's 2 feet higher in the front. What is it? 2 feet higher in the back.
So it's almost close to the uphill lot. Oops. Yeah,
So this is what they're...
It's actually half foot higher than the uphill lot, but it's 3 feet higher than the downhill lot. Okay. So the concern is between lots 56 and 57. All right, I got to, a lot of this is driving by and taking a look at it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it helps to walk out there and see what's really going on.
Yeah, they built a berm like the other ones did. Anyway, okay. I don't think we have to spend much more time on this.
Okay.
Does this need a public hearing, Eric?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Revised subdivision approval.
Lance is seeker, or we're all done with that?
I don't think we need to do seeker on this one. This is just an amendment of an originally approved plan.
Okay.
I'll try to see if we have as-built that include grading for the 2 neighboring properties and make sure it's kind of the same with what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think that helps, Eric. Anything that they can provide some light on in terms of what the grading is going to change and look like. Is that this plan right here, Eric, that you're showing me?
This is the proposed grading plan, yeah.
Okay. But to the best of our knowledge, this is based on the approved plan, not necessarily in the field.
Yeah.
What's that, the parkland behind it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Let's see. Just quickly, referrals to Chris Jensen, Jim Fletcher, and MRB Group. Anything else?
No.
Got it.
Right. Anything else on this one, guys, before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. We'll go back to the top of the agenda, 20051, the Geneco subdivision. So there's 332 Purdy Road. Stella's is right here. They are proposing to subdivide 3 half-acre parcels off and extend Mobile Road. There are some significant problems with this one, I believe. One is, I don't think that that is the whole lot. So, they're kind of showing this parcel as just this, which it was at one point, but obviously Ontario County shows it as the whole thing. That's one. There is a big wetland back here that was delineated and should be called out. And also there is a big easement for this kind of road connection, trail, water line that runs, you know, right through this and even into the area that they're proposing to subdivide off. This, I believe, was filed last year. Oh, earlier this year, February 2020.
Maybe they're not aware of it.
They signed it.
Oh, it was their property. That's true. Yeah.
So we will make them aware and see kind of what they want to do. They, at some point anyways, they want to connect to that road that would run through, but that's not going to be done for a couple years probably. Trying to think. I know Greg Hotelling sent me the sketch plan for that road.
Where did it come out to Purdy? Looks like, unless there's a vacant lot there.
Yeah.
I don't think it is vacant, but it's this parcel right here.
Yeah,
It's
they
actually
bought it,
owned
right,
by-
Eric? Yeah, they bought it.
Yeah.
They being,
Geneco.
oh, Geneco owns, okay, the Werner. Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So all this stuff, wetlands, the easement area, the entire parcel will have to be shown on that plan.
Yep. Whatever grading's associated with that.
And Mobile Roads, is that dedicated back to where it ends or never dedicated?
It's private.
Okay.
And so they would, of course, have to extend that to whatever extent that would end up going. The right-of-way, as I understand, is only from like a filed map from way back when to say, 25-foot right-of-way or 60-foot right-of-way, whatever.
Yeah.
You may want to like have some actual language associated with it. And then they'll have to address kind of how sewer or septic might be done. There is a sewer line, as I understand, here or here, dead at ends. And all 6 of these are connected to that. Now, whether they propose to connect to that, which would be nice, they might want to touch on that.
Yep. Yeah, that many lots. I'm not sure a stub end of the street flies either. They have to, at very least, put a hammerhead in, probably, even though it's private.
Probably.
And fire, I'm sure the fire department will have some discussions about what's being done. Hydrants, there's a hydrant there. Lots, logical question, lots conform to zoning size, lot size? Okay.
They, you know, assume that they would go through with a conservation subdivision, I think is what would end up happening. And I think they'd be required. They're extending off a private drive. They're not doing that 4-lot limit. But with the wetlands here, potentially they could propose to conserve that for that concession. There's like 4 zoning districts as part of it. I think this road, which is part of this parcel, is zoned R130. This area is zoned R120. The big portion of this lot is AR2, and that's where these parcels fall under. And then I believe there's a small portion of community commercial.
Well, I would say this application's incomplete. There's a lot of information missing. It's not ready to go before any board be in the right mind to look at it or understand what's going on. I guess you'll have to sit back down with the applicant. Is Sarah running this, or is she the point person for Janico?
This one might be Dave.
Okay.
Well, Dave and Sarah generally work together on a lot of this stuff.
I guess you're going to have to call them in and ask for an update or revision of the plan, or a plan that shows everything we're looking for.
Yeah. I went through all that stuff that we just talked about is on the checklist. So I'll send that off to everybody and can be included in the minutes as far as what needs to be provided.
If you find out, Eric, that they're looking for like the MRB plan or whatever that was provided, let me know and we'll see what we can provide them.
Okay. You know, I mean, I asked Greg for like the delineation, and he sent me the concept. Do you guys have like, if they were like, okay, can we get that file to show like where it is? Do you have that
Yeah, I
as
mean,
well?
if we did a delineation, if a delineation was in fact done and completed, then we would have record of that and we could provide that. Yep.
Okay.
I'll speak to Greg and see what we can give you.
All right. Well, let me see what they want to do. And a little bit of context as well. This was originally brought about because somebody wanted to purchase like a parcel from them. And so they submitted this application. That person was unaware that it was going to take a while, and that at the time even this lot didn't exist. They thought they were just buying a lot that existed. So that person went elsewhere and purchased a lot. So I'm not sure how inclined they are to even continue, especially if there's a lot left that they need to do. So we'll talk to Dave, tell him what needs to be done, and see where they want to go.
In the meantime, we're certainly not going to schedule it for a meeting yet, so let us know how you make out.
Sure.
I'll put to be determined, planning board meeting to be determined.
Sure.
Yes, that sounds good, John.
Okay.
The next one we'll go to is 20-056.
I'm going to have to
So
excuse myself for a little while here.
Okay. So as you guys are aware, this will be before the planning board next week for the subdivision. And then Bill Grove, and I believe it is the owner's son-in-law proposing to build a house on the eastern lot. So, as you see before you, 2-bedroom house, septic system. generally meets our requirements. Do you guys have any questions?
Other than you have the CPM numbers being the same for the subdivision and the site plan, I believe they're both 20056. Not a big deal, but so we keep them separated because obviously the subdivision has to occur before the site plan approval.
The subdivision is 20-047.
Oh, it is? Oh, I was looking at the FTP site. Okay.
There's two up there. You might have been looking at the one that Michelle put up for this one, but I'll check to make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
Did we already approve the subdivision? Is that what's been, that's already been done?
No, it's up next week.
No. For referrals, Tyler Rowley, Chris Jensen, the ECB, the Ag Advisory Committee, although they probably won't have any comments, just like last time, Jim Fletcher, and Jim Russell for the Cheshire Fire Department.
There's a lot tree. I see existing trees and brush to be removed down to the bottom right of the house. Is it heavily forested or is it pretty open? I don't know what all
Yeah,
that
it's
has.
pretty much all. It's all woods right now.
All woods.
The house site essentially is right here.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the that's a nice pond there. Ponds all over. I'm sure the ECB, as will some of the planning board members, be concerned about deforestation, but making sure the house is located to have a minimal effect on removal of trees.
One thing that we'll note, like with all projects, if according to the site design, if it's over 20,000 square feet, they got to comply with that drainage mitigation. I can't find the limits of disturbance where it gives me the acreage. He shows the limits, but I can't tell the acreage. So I'm suggesting that John just adds that note that per section of X of the site design criteria. John, you got that note?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, let's just make sure that's on there.
Is there a zoning data table on the plan, Eric, that shows required and proposed? Okay. There it is. Oh, okay. 0.3% coverage. Wow.
Well, it's a big, long lot. Chuck, this thing goes down far.
Far.
And land, the soil erosion checklist says they're proposing 13,000 square feet of disturbance.
Perfect. So that as long as I think that's a good note to add to the plan. So John, maybe we can state that, add that note to the plans, and if it's over 20, they need to do this.
Okay.
It needs to show site distance out at Knapp Road for the driveway. I see he's got the
I
paved.
think they have it on the subdivision plan, which hopefully they can just take for it.
Take it off. Right.
They paved and a phosphorus note, I guess.
Yep, they have the phosphorus notes and they have the paved notes on there, Chuck, I think, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty
Did
straightforward.
the subdivision show, Eric, the site distance?
Kind of
put it up
weird.
quick.
It says, it notes it there, but I'm not.
Not at the
calling out?
driveway. Oh, that's just
Oh,
distance.
actually, no.
That's right there. Oh,
It's right there.
okay. Okay. Is it, back off a little bit, is it, okay, the curve's up there, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have the neighboring driveways right near it, which is good.
I don't know what's across the street.
Woods.
Woods, okay, no homes.
Yeah.
Okay. Nearest house is right there, okay. All right, God's country, nice area.
Maybe. Yeah, there's not much missing on the checklist. I think one of the few things I have, the shed says it's to be relocated, doesn't really show where. Site distances, like you said, but that's pretty much it. Seems like they got everything else. You guys good on this one?
Yep.
Okay.
Looks good.
Next up is Mark's for,
I'm sorry, we got subdivision next week. When would the site plan be? The 8th or the 22nd?
you could do the 8th,
Got that, Jen?
assuming the sub.
Yeah,
Okay,
assuming subdivision gets approved.
September 8th. Got it.
Okay, next. Mark's Sand Hill.
It's a very weird lot. It's in the Paddleford Brook Greenway. Most of it's wetlands. So it's wetland.
Gosh.
So,
Looks like a
let's see.
45 pistol.
Yeah. So again, there's all the wetlands, floodplains, and whatnot. They're proposing a house down in this area. They have a barn today. This is the existing conditions. That really doesn't show up well, but that's an existing pole barn. There's existing pole barn. There's the proposed new house. For whatever reason, a long septic. There's also a stream right here, so they have to maintain a 100-foot setback, which they're at. They are within that for the driveway, but generally, with regard to access, we allow people to do that. And that's kind of it.
Slight distance. Paved driveway to the right of way. Rest of the driveway's gravel, I guess. Yeah.
They can, oops, excuse me. This doesn't say there, does it say here?
It just looks like filter fabric and 6 inches of sand. That's the driveway. All right, we'll put it in the checklist. Yeah, I don't know why maybe it's a sand mound and they just want to get it so they don't have a sand mound in their back right behind the house. That's why they ran it back, or maybe that's where it perked because of the stream. What kind of stream is it? Is it a C?
Yep.
Okay, so it's got a 100-foot setback from that. He's okay there.
Yep.
Okay. You should probably show the setback in the stream. Oh.
It's 100 feet from the property line. The stream is a couple feet further. So
Okay. Okay, he's showing 106. propane, concrete, water service to a well, electric goes out the street. Pretty cut and dry.
I got to go into Chris Jensen, the Ag Committee, Jim Fletcher, Frank Magnero, the City Fire Department, and just to the DEC, just because there's wetlands on the property, and make sure they're okay.
Type 2 seeker, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
John, if you could make a note that they need to provide a new structure application.
Okay,
And now,
September
check
22nd
the-
meeting?
this could be the 8th, probably.
Yeah, I don't know what the 8th agenda looks like other than what we've already put on. If there's room, fine.
Okay, got it.
Leave it on for now, for the 8th.
Okay,
I'll send the checklist out. I don't think that there's anything big on there. Some of the stuff on existing conditions, I think if they have an existing survey, which they likely do, if they provide that, then it'll be. Is there anything else on this one, guys?
Nope.
Nope, I think we're good.
Anything else on anything in general, since we've completed our agenda?
No, yeah, that sexual harassment training that you sent out, make sure that's on the agenda for next week. Under training. Just have Michelle put that on. And I'm not sure if she had Rocco's presentation on there either.
It should be. I'm not sure.
Is it?
the
Okay.
time is.
I don't recall. I don't, and we set it for 7:30.
Mhm.
Oh, sketch
We'll
plan.
make those.
Okay. So it's really, yeah, page up a little bit. So there's the subdivision we talked about, Gerlach, okay. Design works. Okay. And if you put the training, that would be great.
Yeah, I don't think we have any letter of credits that I remember seeing, but then we're good.
No, no referrals to review?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, we gotta have an ordinance meeting, right? Okay. All right, looks good.
Cool.
All right.
Then, if anything else comes up, let me know. Otherwise, I'll
Will
see
do.
you guys later.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
thanks, Eric.
Bye all.
Take care, guys.
and then Eric, you'll send the referral sheets and the checklist on email?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get them out as soon as I can.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, John.